Hey, everybody. Welcome to Two Dudes Talking. I'm DJ Schrupp. That's Dustin Ovitz. UFC Fight Night, ESPN this Saturday. Two bangers. Dustin Poirier, Dan Hooker. I mean, unreal fight. I mean, this one on paper looks to be, I mean, one of those fights you don't want to miss, right?
Absolutely. How do you miss this fight? I mean, you know who I'm rooting for because in name alone, it kind of gives it away. But
Hooker?
Yeah,
you're rooting for the Hooker?
Absolutely rooting against the guy who shares a first name with me or who I share a first name with. I have no idea if I'm older than him. I will.
You're actually going that route. I went completely dirty. Okay, my bad.
No, I'm not going TJ Hooker, first of all.
DJ
That better
Hooker.
be that guy's nickname, by the way. It should be Dan TJ Hooker. Like he
That'd be amazing. I mean, he called out Dustin Poirier. He's getting him. He obviously thinks by beating the Diamond, it propels him into belt talk. We'll get to that, but I mean, specifically about this fight, I mean, Poirier is coming off a pretty big loss from the champ, and handedly lost that fight. I mean, he really didn't put on a show. So, I mean, I think he needs to kind of get back into good graces with the UFC brass, but also just get back on the win train. Hooker, on the other hand, three wins after a tough loss, 4 fights ago. So he's on the gravy train right now.
Yeah, but you're saying that the winner of this fight is going to think they get a shot at what, Masvidal or Khabib, if Khabib ever comes back?
I mean, what they think in their mind and what's reality are two different things. I think the guy who wins this fight gets a big fight, but doesn't get a gold level fight.
Well, then who do
I think
fight?
that
Does the winner get Masvidal?
I think no. I think the winner could get a Nate Diaz.
If they ever get a deal done. Yeah, right.
Right. But I don't know if he's been trolling Hooker as much as he's been commenting about Hooker on his Twitter feed. So he's watching Hooker. So hey, there's something there. There's something there for sure. But I mean, Tony Ferguson, the problem with this division is that there's so many guys at the top. There's a log jam up top. We don't know how long Ferguson's going to be out. It's going to be a minute. So I could see if Poirier wins, fighting a Ferguson, right? If Hooker wins, maybe they push to secure Diaz to make that fight happen. But neither one are going up belt wise. I mean, how could you put Poirier back in that situation? He's got to get a couple wins under his belt, and Hooker still has something to prove.
Well, okay, let's take it one at a time. Let's say Poirier wins.
Mm-hmm.
Masvidal's waiting on Khabib, or Khabib's going to have to give up the belt. One of those two things is going to happen.
Yep.
You can't give him either of those fights. So if you give him Ferguson, let's say this is not a war in the sense of both guys are medically not cleared for the next 6 months. Ferguson's going to be out, I'm assuming, till the end of the year, at least, would be my pick.
Yeah.
That was a war. So if they're only out for 2 months, who do you give them? Who do you give Poirier? I mean, is that – well, you don't give Poirier McGregor. I mean, McGregor's looking for a fight. I mean, does Hooker want to fight McGregor? I mean, who doesn't want to fight McGregor, right? Because payday.
But maybe Hooker fights Diaz, winner gets McGregor.
And then Masvidal Khabib fight, and then the winner of the McGregor, hypothetically Poirier fight, gets that winner? Okay.
There you go. You're thinking 3 fights ahead. That's
okay. Then
that's very Joe Silva of you.
Joe, we miss you. You were awesome.
Yes, you did.
He was so good. Okay, let's take the other side of the coin then. Hooker wins.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's 2 different situations. I think if Poirier wins, he's in a much higher position than if Hooker wins, just based on a resume.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
so I think I don't think you give him the Diaz fight. I mean, I guess you have to, but
I mean, no one's getting Gaethje.
Well, that's the other thing is where do you fit him in?
Yeah, you got to feed him too. So I just don't, like I said, if Poirier wins, I just don't see him fighting for the belt again. He needs another quality win, and then he can go fight for the belt again, right?
I'm sorry, Masvidal's in the welterweight division.
Look, if it was a closer fight, if Poirier's last fight was closer or close, then there's an argument there. There's no argument with this one. With Hooker winning, is Poirier enough to get him a title fight? No.
Yeah, sorry. I thought Masvidal was lightweight. He's welterweight. My bad on that. So, you're right. It's Gaethje. So, I mean, Poirier's got to win. I'm looking at the UFC rankings, and obviously it's Khabib, Gaethje, Ferguson, who's going to be out for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have Poirier and Hooker.
Right.
So I guess based on those rankings, the winner of this gets Gaethje, but that doesn't make any sense because Khabib has to happen.
Yeah, that's why I talk about the logjam, right? So yeah.
I'll tell you who the loser should fight.
Who?
Oliveira.
Yeah, I mean, I don't at this point. This is a fight where I don't know if anyone cares about the loser in this. No, usually, like sometimes you come out of a big fight like this, and you're like, okay, you know what? If the loser can go here and kind of regain his posture in the division. I think if Poirier loses, he falls off, man. I think that there's not enough there for Dustin Poirier, enough of a resume to say, you know what, let's keep him at the top. He's had a couple bad fights. I think that if he has so much pressure on him. Right. I think Hooker can lose one and get a couple more fights and then get right back into contention. I think if Poirier loses, he's going to be, in a timeout for at least a couple fights.
I agree with you. There's a logjam. And, I mean, that applies to the next fight as well. Because welterweight's even a bigger logjam than lightweight. I don't know how that's possible, but it is. I mean, how do you get over? I mean, you got Usman Burns, who they're going to fight on Fight Island, which we can talk about when it gets closer. Because
not a real island, or it is a real island. It's just all bullshit. It wasn't Dana White's building.
I have a lot of thoughts
on it. Disappointed. I'm super disappointed in that.
We're going to talk about it on a different episode because I have tons of thoughts on that. I mean, and you got Masvidal lying in the wings, but is he going to stay a welterweight? Is he going to go up? Is he going to down? I have no idea.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you going to do with him? Then you've got McGregor, who's technically a welterweight and can fight at lightweight. So, like, where does he fit in?
Mm-hmm.
Woodley got smoked, so we're not going to – I mean, I want him to be a better fighter, but whatever. Then you have Diaz, who can fight at every freaking weight because it's Anthony Diaz or Nate Diaz. Then you got Showtime. I mean, so who do you give these guys if they win? Who do you give Perry or Gall if they win? And by the way, Gall on the
where's Perry? Where's Perry ranked? Where's Perry and Gall ranked? Like,
is he in the 20s? Well, Gall is supposedly 61st. I think Perry is 21st.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really care about them until they're in the top 10. Honestly, like.
Well, okay, let's assume this website I found is accurate, right? For the UFC rankings, it's Usman, Burns, Colby Covington, Masvidal. I don't know how the hell Masvidal's fourth, but whatever. Leon Edwards, Tyron Woodley, really? Conor McGregor. I disagree with these rankings already. Nate Diaz, Showtime, and Chiesa. And then if you want 11, it's Stephen Thompson. 12 is Rafael.
Okay, there you go. So I think you can give them a Stephen Thompson. You give him a Wonder Boy, or you give him a Chiesa.
I give him Robbie Lawler.
Or you can give him a Robbie Lawler.
Yeah, give somebody that's actually fought for something. Be like, here, let's see what you are.
Yeah, I mean, look, I like them fighting Wonder Boy or Chiesa as well.
I like Chiesa
because I think that those are.
Conor shit.
But I just don't know if those guys want to fight Chiesa and get laid on and be on the mat for
15 minutes,
15 minutes.
Sorry,
so
whatever.
These guys don't want to be on the ground fighting. They want to stand and bang. So
not all of them. Damian Maia.
Well, these two guys in particular,
for sure.
I think
they're not going to the ground.
Yeah. So look, I think I think that this is a pick'em. It's a pretty close fight. What are the odds here?
Speaking of that, last week on a fight, we were even. 4, you got 4, I got 4. You didn't do too well.
We could have done better.
Yeah.
I mean,
we split
Mike,
on the.
Mike Perry's minus 340, Mickey Gall plus 270.
Wow, that's a big swing.
Yeah. I mean, I look at it as Mike Perry's fight to lose, but
Wait, you just
we'll
said
see.
Gall was plus.
Yeah,
wasn't?
yeah, but I like Mike Perry.
Oh, all right.
I mean, I like Mike Perry on this. I think that he's a quality fighter, and he's got something to prove here, and I think this is his way to get into the conversation.
I guess
It's Florida man. Never deny Florida man.
You're really
Florida man
Perry.
always figures it out.
I'm taking Gall just because he looks like Brian Stan, who I loved. So Gall is.
I mean, and then going back, Dustin Poirier is minus 220, Dan Hooker plus 180,
and you want Hooker.
Yeah, I hate to root against Poirier. I spent some time with him at ATT watching him train at his for his fight camp, and I mean, he's the nicest dude, man.
That's good to know.
So nice, and it's so hard to like spend any time with these dudes, see how nice they are in person, talk to them like a normal human being. We weren't even talking about fighting. It was just talking about some bullshit. And it's like, it's hard to kind of break away from that. I wasn't a media person. I'm not, talking to him, trying to get information. We were just bullshitting like two dudes.
Yeah.
And, but it's hard to root against him, but, it's hard for me to root against the Hooker. Hooker's always figure it out.
So we split on both the two fights. You want to do just random pick them for the rest of them?
All right, let's do it. Let's go. Let's look at the catchweight fight. Sean Woodson, Julian Erosa.
I'll take Julian Erosa. Why not?
All right, I'm going Sean Woodson.
Of course you will.
Yeah. All right, the heavyweight bout. Gian Villante versus Maurice Green.
Oh.
I like that fight. That's going to be a fun fight to watch.
I like that fight. I'll take Maurice.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with Maurice as well.
I feel that I don't think this is going to deep water, but Maurice could take it there.
Yeah, I'm going first round knockout.
All right.
Yeah. Middleweight, we got Brendan Allen and Kyle Dawkess.
I'm taking Kyle Dawkess. I know you're not.
All right,
no way you're taking.
No, I'm taking Brendan Allen because if Kyle Dawkess, he doesn't even have a headshot in the UFC app.
That's what I'm saying. That's how you know he's going to win.
He's going to lose.
He's going to win, I'm telling you.
All right, that was UFC Fight Night on ESPN this Saturday. We'll be watching. Watch along with us. Let's talk about another topic.
Stay in the UFC.
Yeah, let's stay in the UFC.
Shocking. No.
Johnny Bones Jones.
That's your boy. I'm gonna let you just knock yourself out.
Look, I agree with him 110%. If he doesn't need the money, sit out and say, you know what, Dana, go ahead, do your thing. I'm sad that I can't see him fight, and these are precious minutes he's wasting.
Oh God, yeah. Look,
I mean,
I don't like him on a personal level. I don't know him on a personal level based on his just life outside of taking the spray cans from the looters protesters, which I thought was brilliant. The whole, drug thing, the steroids, and what else have you. I'm just not a fan of that. But in the ring, he is amazing to watch. One of the best fighters that's ever existed in UFC/MMA. So I'm sad that we won't get to see him fight for a while because his talent, I don't know that there's been anybody like him.
I mean, there hasn't. I mean, this guy has been absolutely unbelievable. And, he's not making enough money. We've firmly established that in prior conversations. I mean, but the problem is he the guy that's going to try to rally for a union, and are the guys going to want to follow him? don't know. I don't know if he's that guy or if this is his intent. His intent might just be like, I don't need you. You don't need me. I have other things. I'm going to go do, Steve-O's podcast where this is where he actually broke this news, right? Like,
I thought it was
he's exploring. He's exploring. I'm going to go to Rogan. I mean, fuck Rogan.
Rogan's under enough issues right now anyway. So
yeah, you're going to go to,
Ariel and the bad
MMA Junkie or Ariel. Like, none of those guys like Ariel, so they're not going to go to Ariel. They go there because they know they need to, but they don't like that dude. And so where else is he going to go? Okay, I'm going to go to Steve-O. I mean, it's kind of breaking the mainstream and going in a different direction. And look, like I said, I'm sad. I'm upset about it that they can't get together, that the UFC can't figure out clearly the best fighter to ever step into the octagon, and you're not willing to pay him 7 figures. It's dumbfounding. It's absolutely dumbfounding.
I mean, we don't know what he wants. I mean, truthfully, he might say this is what I want, but behind closed doors when they're negotiating, we truly don't know what he wants. Does he want 7 figures? Does he want a piece of the gate/pay-per-view? Like, I don't know how they're trying to structure the deal. So
we truly don't know what the conversations that are being had between lawyers and managers, but let's just assume that he's not asking. Let's assume everybody at their word, right? Yeah. That Dana's like, hey, you get paid enough. You have a contract. Johnny's like, I want more. And I'm not asking for that much more. I mean, his words clearly have said, I'm not looking for much more. I just want more. Well, okay, so if you take them at their word, then how do you not side with Johnny Bones Jones?
Well, look, I don't know all the numbers. You don't either, but we can play the guessing game like anybody.
Yeah.
So let's say he's making, I don't know, $250 a fight. Fair. Before bonuses and all, whatever, the Reebok deal and all that stuff. So let's say he says, hey, I want to double that. I want to make $500,000 a fight. If you take that and look at the top flight athletes over any other major sport in the United States or even in the world, I hate to use the term that's nothing, but in the context, that's nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at like the Mike Trouts, the Messi, Ronaldo, and football, soccer, whatever the hell you want to call it, the Tom Brady, pick another NFL guy that has a huge contract. I can't think of it. Like the Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, the LeBron, Anthony Davis.
Mm-hmm.
That's nothing. I get that the UFC is not as big as those sports are across every platform in every country and every world. But still, if you have the money and the resources in order to build your sport, because you're dealing with the greatest of all time, I get that you can't pay them for what they were. You need and should pay people for what they are and what they could be. But this guy's 33 years old?
Look, I bet you it's still less than what they paid in the dividends to the investors.
Well,
I hate bringing that up again.
No, you should bring that up because that's
Serena Williams probably made more fucking money than Johnny Bones Jones.
Well, that's right? A valid point. Now, I get that many leagues at one point probably had investors or owners that were investors before insider trading was illegal. So I don't have an issue with the dividend. I have an issue with the fact that if you're not going to pay your fighters what they're requesting, or not exactly what they're requesting because it's a negotiation tactic and trying to get more money, but, more money, but then you're going to turn around and say, oh, hey, our investors like Serena Williams and Halle Berry and whoever, Tom Brady, whatever, I'm making up names at this point, we're going to pay you X number of dollars instead of putting that back into the product, and we'll pay you out later.
I have nothing against the dividend payout. I have a problem with the timing of it. I just don't think that you get to put in money and then a year later get to take it in an investment such as this. Right. Yeah. This isn't flipping a house. This isn't flipping a car. This is something different. And I don't know if any of them expected to get a quick turnaround on their investment. Maybe they did, and maybe that's why they invested. But like I said, I have a problem with the timing. I have a problem with the amount. And especially given the fact that some of their fighters make barely 5,000 a fight.
Sad. Look,
I mean, it's ridiculous.
Okay. I'm going to have to fix this after I say it, but I'm saying it. For those fighters that make that little, they should be able to sell, like you said, I think, what was it, last week? Where you're talking about, they should be able to sell their shorts, their banners, whatever. You know, you see like the Hitman, the full tilt poker. I'm making up stuff because it all.
Lana's egg whites.
The tap out, the head blade, guns and ammo. I mean, you remember all these old, advertisements. I mean, you said the UFC can sell the canvas, so I agree. The fighters that are making that little should absolutely be able to go, hey, you know, I get a better deal with Hayabusa, or I get a better deal with Hitman Fight Gear. I know they no longer exist, but you know how I feel about that.
Why does Cowboy Cerrone get to go out and do commercials for that protein pack, that P3 or whatever?
Isn't that Lunchables?
I mean, it is. It's basically Lunchables. But why does he get up? You know why he gets to go out and do it? Because he's Dana's boy. And I have nothing against Cowboy. I love Cowboy.
You cannot. And I know you don't.
And I can't hate on that success. But why does he get to do it and these fighters don't?
Yeah, no, look, I thought the Reebok deal was going to be different in terms of, you know, paying the fighters that then appeared in ads when they were at top flight or up and comers, and that just never came to fruition. Which it was supposed to be better for the lower tier fighters, and I don't think any of them are seeing and reaping that benefit. No. Or maybe they're like, you know what, I could be out there in the Inland Empire's, you know, jump starting cars, you know, for AAA, like you know, like one particular fighter, or I could go in, I fight 3-4 times a year. As long as I stay healthy, I earn $10K and I'm good with that. Right. I mean, it's confusing, but I think that it was meant to really help the top tier guys and the bottom. And then there's a middle that's not really getting, I don't know. The structure is shitty, and I think that the fighters are getting screwed out of it, and the fighters need to figure this shit out, and it's sad that they have not, or no one has stepped up and said anything, and we're left where we were again. And maybe there is a groundswell. Maybe there is a guy out there or gal out there that's trying to garner some support, and then all of a sudden drop it on the desk. Yeah, look,
we'll see.
I mean, I hope it happens. I know you do too. They need to unionize just to get the benefits they're looking for. It'll also give them a stronger negotiating position from almost all the fighters. Now, I get that the little, and I mean not height-wise, just in terms of the fighters that are just getting into the UFC, are probably still going to get the short end of the stick because that's just the nature of the beast. But I think overall, they could stand to make substantially more money. And I don't understand the whole – I get the Reebok thing, but wasn't Bones a Nike person before that happened?
Yeah, but he lost his deal when all that drama happened with him.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, he must have made a boatload off of that deal, or him and his team. Don't know who signed the thing. And then, obviously, all that stuff went down, but then all of a sudden he's got to sign with Reebok. Yeah.
I mean, it's similar to GSP. I think he had a deal with Under Armour for the longest time, too. You know, you can go to an Under Armour store and see GSP's face everywhere, right? Look, they need to figure this out. They need to figure out quick. The UFC needs to open up its purse strings a little bit more and pay more than 18% to its fighters, hands down.
Yeah, you know, I'd be interested, and I don't have the numbers in front of me, but what is the NBA? What is the NHL, MLS, NFL, and MLB? What's the percentage?
Most of them are anywhere from 40 to 60%. They're in that range. Yeah.
So if you want to say like players and coaches and staff, obviously.
It's basically a split. It's basically a split.
I'm not counting front office personnel because that's team employees.
I mean even if they raise it to 35%, a little bit more.
Well, raise it any. I don't mean 19% because that's laughable. But how about raise
now? I'm just trying to figure out who's getting rich off of this. And look, WME paid a lot of money for this brand. Yeah. So they need to figure it out too. They need to pay those loans, pay those investors, whatever you know, Ari put together. But
Patrick, but that's interesting you bring them up because I think with the fight, and this is just my own thoughts here. I think the fighters, if you really want to fix it, you have to get the attention of WME. You have to somehow get it above Dana, where all of a sudden WME is paying attention, going, "Whoa, wait a second, what did you just say? What just happened?" Because if they're not paying attention, they're just, and they might be, I don't know, I'm guessing here, but if they're just, it's running well, the fights are going well, we're making money, everything's fine, Dana has it under control, which in essence he does, then they're not going to pay attention. But if you get their attention, all of a sudden it's like, whoa, wait a second, we got to step in here and see what's going on. Then it could be bad too, because if you get corporate's attention, as we all know, the larger corporate entity starts paying attention, things can go south.
They get their attention by striking. That's it.
I don't think that will happen though. I mean, maybe at the top flight level it will, but I don't see like the average fighter.
Then but you know what? If you say like the top 10 from every division locks out, that's enough. That's enough for them to go, uh-oh, there's something here. You know what? The rest of the bottom feeder guys, okay. Are you going to watch every weekend to watch, Joe Smith pound on Daniel Silva? I'm making those names up. If there's a fighter out there, I'm sorry.
There's a fighter by both of those names.
But you're not. You're not. I mean, look, I love Jimmy Smith, right? I worked with him a long time. He decides, I'm going to cross the picket line. You going to watch that fight? No. I love Jimmy, but I ain't going to watch him fight.
You're going to watch Joe Diesel Riggs versus, I don't know, James the Colossus Thompson at this point, assuming they were both fighting?
I mean, you're gonna promote Joey Beltran from bare knuckle boxing over to the UFC and watch him fight? No. So if the top 10 guys from every division step up and girls, did it, and girls, then I think we've been in a good place. But anyway, let's move on. Let's move on. MLB's coming back. I'm sure you're happy. Well, we don't know. Maybe they're coming back. But on paper, they're coming back. It's been announced they're coming back.
On paper, it's fantastic, and I'm so happy. I can't stop smiling. However, how they're going to execute it, given all what's going on with COVID, I don't really know. I mean, the Phillies had all those positive tests, both players and staff or personnel, whoever it was, where they shut down their training facility. I think the Blue Jays did the same thing. Not MLB, but the Toronto Maple Leafs did the same thing, I think, again in Florida. Because Florida and California, where we both live, has just gone psychotic.
Governor Newsom did an interview, I think it was either yesterday or today, where he said shutting down again is on the table.
It should be, given what's going on.
He pulled Disney can't reopen its doors.
Mm-hmm. Look, it's true. I mean, Disney did a smart thing in terms of the parks. I think that was a brilliant move for them to decide, look, we're not going to open on July 17th. I understand the significance of July 17th. It's when the park originally opened in 1955. I get it. But, the health and safety of your staff, your patrons, your guests, everybody is vitally more important than reopening on July 17th. And the same thing applies for pro sports. Look, if you're going to have a training camp and it's supposed to be in people's home stadiums, I think I read, for baseball on July, we'll say 1st because it's a nice round date. I don't remember the specific date. That's fine. But the Cubs, I don't want to say owner, but we'll say owner, came out and said he's hoping to have fans in the stands, not a full fans. They don't want to sell it out, but 10, 20, whatever it is percent that they decide. And I'm like, I'm of two minds. I love baseball so much. I really want to go. But at the same time, do I want to expose myself to that many potentially people if we're not properly socially distanced? Yes, we're in an open air stadium, but are you really?
Yeah, you want to be in an area where people are yelling and screaming, even if you're socially distanced.
No. Maybe.
I'm not going to a game until there's a vaccine that I can actually know.
Yeah, I just miss baseball, as you know. You know how rabid of a fan I am for baseball. So
look, you're just gonna have to watch it on your TV.
I'm gonna have to, and I'm gonna watch it. Here's my favorite.
You've been good this long. Yeah, you've been quarantining this long. Why risk that?
Look, here's my favorite part of the whole situation, assuming baseball happens. And this is totally personal. Disclosure, I'm a diehard Dodger fan. Disclosure, I'm still pissed at the Astros. Disclosure, I was there for the World Series games against the Astros. Disclosure, I was there for the Boston games against the Astros. Because of how it's set up right now, you're going to play 10 games against each of the NFC rivals, which is the team up north. You know who I mean. I refuse to name them. The Padres, the D-backs, the Rockies, and I don't think I'm missing one, but I might be. And then we're going to play 4 games each against the AL West. Angels, Seattle, Oakland, the Astros, and the Rangers. if we play the Astros, every one of them should be wearing a baseball when they come up to bat if they were on the team during that World Series. I will be rooting for that. I don't want them to get beamed in the head, but I don't agree with that. They can wear it in their butt, their leg, their back. I don't care. But every one of those guys who was on the team should be wearing one.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see a world that they can come back successfully right now.
Well, yeah, the health and safety issues, I think, are going to stop it. I mean, you got the whole NBA bubble thing. You got the NHL issue. You got the NFL.
You got the PGA. Brooks Koepka, and his caddy test positive. You have
immediately.
Yeah, you have a couple players that have tested now. Like, look, and there's a press conference set for the next day or so. They might be going on a pause too.
Yeah. Look, I don't know how you get it done. First of all, there are no fans, which is great. You think golf, and you think a golf course being able to socially distance with just you and your caddy. I don't know if they're getting positive tests and they're
I brought it up to you. If they were going from hotel, car to course to play and leave, then yes. They're not like, any one of us going out and playing golf and being able to stay 10, 20 feet away from people, right? They are playing, they're signing scorecards, they're going through, into the clubhouse, locker room, whatever it is, and they're interacting with people. And, you get a few knuckleheads that are like, oh, it's okay, I'm not going to wear my mask. Yeah. I see it on the course. Like when I get to the course and I'm in the clubhouse, I'm like, they aren't wearing a mask. I'm going to go all the way around.
Because I'm not in the clubhouse if I can help it.
Yeah, I mean, I pass through and I'm like, nope. But if they can't do it, then can baseball do it? Can football do it? Can basketball do it? I say no. I think that let's talk about Tony Fauci says wear a mask. If Tony Fauci says this can't be done,
you on a first name basis?
Yes. If Tony F. Soprano style tells me that we're not done with this yet,
we're not,
and that we can't successfully launch sports yet, then I tend to agree with him and not. And look, I'm gonna quote Rappaport here. The dick stain in the White House doesn't give a shit about me, you, or all of the people watching, and he doesn't give a shit. He wants these guys to come back.
First of all, well, of course he does, because it's a distraction for people that are stuck inside, number one. Number two, it's money for a bunch of his billionaire, I don't know, friends. I use the term friends loosely. They might not really be friends, but you know what I mean.
Wink, wink. But it's all, they're all buddies, right?
Well, look, I think the PGA issues that are going on right now is a huge red flag for all the other major sports.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll take the NBA because I think they're supposed to start first, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So you're going to put all those people, players, personnel, coaches, staff, medical staff, whatever, in the bubble. Okay, that might be doable, but how are you going to control families coming to visit? How are you going to control whoever the hell comes to visit? Like, I mean, there's a bunch of guys dropping out, and I completely understand it because they're worried about the health and safety of their family. They don't want to, because they have young kids. They don't want to threaten their kids, with the virus, or expose their kids rather to the virus. And I completely understand it. It completely makes sense. I don't know how you can safely do it and then really truly crown a champion if you don't have the team that the owners, GMs, coaches, whomever had signed at the beginning of the season. It's really hard to do. Like, how are you going to say, you're the NBA champion, but that team got COVID and had to bow out, or they got COVID and had to bow out, so it's a bunch of other players that might have been reserves or might not have been in the opening day roster. Like, how are you going to do that? Are you going to do the same thing in MLB? Yeah. Like, what happens if an MLB player, or what happens if a quarterback in the NFL gets it? Like, what happens if, I don't know, pick a random quarterback. Anybody, it doesn't matter.
Jimmy Garoppolo.
Perfect. What happens if Jimmy Garoppolo gets it? Like, that's going to completely change he's on the 49ers, right? Let's go with it.
Yeah.
The 49ers season. Like, all of a sudden you're missing the QB. How can you justify then saying, well, we had a, I don't know, 8-8 season if we had Garoppolo.
Look, I don't want to say it, but it's going to take a major star to get very, very sick and maybe die. That's what it's going to take, because Americans are too damn stubborn with their my rights are being infringed, all this bullshit that you keep hearing, and then the political mess that's happening, right? And the tug and pull of the Republicans and Democrats, and I don't want to wear my mask, you're infringing on my freedom, don't tread on me, yeah.
Don't tread on me.
Not what that means. Don't shred. I was doing a little skateboard thing there. But look.
Yeah, don't shred on me, got it.
I mean, look, at the end of the day, like, we aren't finished with this yet. And I think that it's uber frustrating that all of the leagues are they're trying to rush back because of money. Okay. And like I said, I don't want to wish this upon anybody, but I think that that's what it's going to take. Someone's getting very, very sick and on a respirator, and that image of, your favorite quarterback or wide receiver or home run hitter in the hospital about to die. Like, that's what it's going to take.
Yeah, as well as I do that reality is when it happens to you, right? Or somebody close to you. That would be you. So I think, unfortunately, I have to semi-agree with you in the sense, like, it's going to hit home when somebody they know. It doesn't have to be a family member. It could be a close friend or, basically somebody they consider a brother or a sister just from knowing them their whole life gets it. And all of a sudden it's going to be like, whoa, wait a second. Like, this is a legitimate disease, it can impact me. Even right now, the majority of cases are 20 to 40-year-olds or 20 to 50, whatever it is, because they're not wearing masks. Stuff is opening and they're like, oh, yes, it's safe. We can go out. It's like, well, no, it's not. You still need to socially distance. You still need to be careful. The disease didn't disappear. I agree with you. They should have shut it down until they have a viable vaccine. And I understand that might have been a year and a half from now. But look, it's better safe than sorry. I understand that all these players, men, women, professional athletes are going to lose a year of their prime or a year of their careers or be free agents or what have you. And for, the fans of certain teams, they might never have seen a player that they were going to sign, i.e. like Mookie Betts on the Dodgers. I get that. And it sucks. But at the same time, with what we're dealing with, we've never dealt with, at least in our lifetime, we've never dealt with something like this. And I don't think they're taking it as seriously. And again, this is just from the perspective of reading news, as seriously as they should. And I agree with you. They won't until something really, really bad or really drastic happens within the organization, their family, or to their group of friends. And I hope none of it happens. But I think in order for it to happen completely without anything going wrong with friends, family, a team, organization, whatever, it's going to be a miracle if it happens like that.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you exactly what I got into an argument with someone on Facebook, and I should stop doing this. But
Facebook, damn it.
Yeah, look, I got into an argument with the wife of a high up official at Bellator that we happen to be Facebook friends.
That was dumb.
And she put something up about masks being like religion. If you believe it'll help you, wear it. If not, don't. And I said, you're a fucking moron. You've just exposed how stupid you are. No wonder your husband sucks at his job. And then, like I said, this is like a a person in I was pissed. That just pissed me off because there were so many people that responded like, yeah, you go, girl. This is awesome. Yeah, right on. Me too. We should be talking about how people should be eating healthier and blah. I'm like, you know what? If we're talking about that, if we're saying, oh, person's on respirator, and you're like, you should eat healthier. Well, no shit, Sherlock. You should have been healthier.
Sunday. That's why you're on a respirator.
Exactly. And I like I told her, I said, look, if you want to leave it to the imaginary man in the sky to get you, protect you from getting sick, then that's one thing. But you out there who, look, she's followed by a lot of people. Like, she's actually kind of a pseudo influencer in her own right. And because, like I said, because of her husband's, state in this organization. And I just said, look, you're showing you have a tentative grasp on a 5th grade education by saying something like that. And I said, you need to backtrack and you need to stop. And that's why you're stupid. And I'm not your friend anymore. Unfriend. And then I waited for her to read it, because if you block someone on Facebook, they don't see your response. Right. So I waited for her this morning to see it. She responded. I didn't look at the response because there was nothing there that was going to convince me. It was only going to make me more upset. I knew that she responded because it was in my notifications. Then I went to her name and blocked her. So I don't even know what she said to me, but I'm glad that she saw it. I'm glad that people out there saw it. I hope that her husband saw it, and I hope that all the rest of my former Bellator family saw it, because people like that need to be exposed just as much as people who, the Karens of the world that are out there harassing people of color. They all need to be exposed, and we're exposing them one person at a time. But look, I think that's a good way to end the show. I have no more to say. I don't know if you do.
No, look, I'm sure that we all have our own biases and issues and are all uneducated in certain ways. I know that I could definitely use education in many ways. I have no doubt. But just the idiocy going on with the whole masks and the Karen issue, which I dislike because I know a Karen who is lovely. Sorry, I do. She's a very lovely human being. And the fact that nickname came out makes me feel sorry for her anytime she now goes out and pays for something.
Right.
Like, oh, you're Karen? It's like, oh, I'm sorry. That didn't work out well for you. But yeah, the amount of idiocy going on right now is like, oh, it's safe to go out. It's fine. It's weakening. We don't need to worry about it. We don't need masks. You're impinging on our rights and all. It's like, dude, stop. Are you a doctor? No, then I don't want to hear you. Unless you're like a leading viral expert or pandemic expert, or there's probably a name, I don't know, epidemiologist. Thank you, Pam, who's to my left. I don't want to hear you. I don't hear anything about you. And if you're one of those deniers that's an epidemiologist, stop. Just go away.
Or an anti-vaxxer or any of those people.
Oh, dude, the anti-vaxxers for other reasons need to be quiet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, God.
But anyway.
All right.
We did it. We did it again. Another show. You guys can yell at us. I appreciate y'all for following, watching us. That's all I got.
Or DM us and let us know what you want us to talk about or what we should talk about that we will never think of.
Yeah. All right, guys. Peace.